Hello to all of my BPTV fans, YouTube fans, and new fans. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine, and I'm doing my 20th, unbelievable 20th Talking Machine show, which I started last year. I have a great guest who's actually my BFF, and will tell you the story how I met her. I'm going to let her introduce herself to all of you.
Hi everybody, I am Jaime Chesney. I've been a longtime friend of Alan Levine, the Talking Machine here.
Yes, she has.
He supported my martial arts career and is still a great support and friend.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to get into this, and we're going to go way back. Where were you born at?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right here.
Yes, and I know there's a community that you grew up in. What community was that?
The north side.
Okay. She's
Yes.
a north side girl.
Yes.
Be careful.
There's the north side and the other side.
Right. And you be careful with that, because I know plenty there. Guys and girls. That's another story. What schools did you go to?
I went to Catholic elementary schools. I started at
You can mention.
St. Leo's, and then they closed down with the mergers, and then St. Peter's.
Those things happen.
Yes, yes. And then Risen Lord. And then in high school, I went to North Catholic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't realize. So you were in the Catholic system the whole time.
Well, I didn't last too long.
Well, we'll get into that. Did you play any sports? Did you like school? How were you in school?
I was a great kid in school until I would say around 7th, 8th grade. I started realizing there were things that I wanted to do more on the creative side. And,
Like what?
I wanted to be a commercial artist back then.
Back then,
Yeah, it
in
was called
7th or
commercial
8th
arts.
grade.
Yes, which is now graphic design, and I do have my degree in that.
Congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow.
I did have my own business doing that for some time, and moved on to real estate.
Nice. We'll discuss that a little in the later
Yes.
segment. We're
Yeah.
getting the young Jaime Chesney,
Oh,
okay? So now 7th or 8th grade, did you play any sports?
I did a little bit of basketball, but my focus, I really wanted to get into martial arts, and I had
Why?
Well, I always loved it. If you look at some of the movies, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Chuck
I love
Norris,
those movies.
Bruce Lee, the greats. So.
No wonder we're BFFs.
Yeah.
I just watched a Van Damme movie the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up to that, trying to kickbox my cousins. They didn't appreciate that too much.
Understand.
So I would.
Did you do anything organized?
I asked my mother, and she said, "No, I'm not putting you in that."
Mothers can be tough.
So, fast forward, I did end up getting into it when I was 16.
Sure. What happened?
I was walking home from work. I worked at the local Giant Eagle.
I wanted you to tell this story,
Yeah.
so thank you.
I worked at the local Giant Eagle, and I saw a girl who said, "Hey, are you Jaime Chesney?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Thought I had all the friends in the world, no enemies. And they said, "Hey, do you know so-and-so?" And I said, "Yeah." And 2 other girls crossed the street, so there were 3 of them, and then 2 big guys were with them as well.
Wow.
So 5 of them, 1 of me.
I don't like this situation.
No, it wasn't good. And my mother wouldn't let me walk home at dark, even though I was 16. So it was just about to get dark. I should have been home by then.
Right.
And the one girl just came and pushed me. So I knew I was surrounded by 3 of them with the 2 big guys. Something was happening. And I know if you get punched or pushed in the north side, you better.
It's problems.
It's a problem. So what did I do? I just started punching her to prevent her from pushing me any further. And
Were you around the same height that you are now?
Almost, yeah. Yeah, I would say.
Well, I'd watch out for that.
Well, there were 3 of them, and the one girl just grabbed me by my hair and took her high heels off and started hitting me in the face.
Oh, my goodness.
And I had no choice but to go into the fetal position
To protect yourself.
To protect myself, and
Well, you are smart, too.
yeah. Well, I would hope anybody would do that.
No,
So
in this day and age, I can't say that. Sorry.
I think I see what you mean.
Yes.
So, I was on the ground in the fetal position being punched and kicked, and one of the guys I worked with pulled over, said, "Hey, get off her," and he pulled me in the car and took me home, and I had a white shirt on, and it was covered in blood. And
Oh, my goodness.
my mother was freaking out.
She must have been in shock.
Called the police right away, like, "Are you okay?" Blood everywhere. And after that, I wanted my revenge, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
felt
And you
violated.
knew who the girls were?
I found out later. I did not know them when they
Okay.
jumped
So
me.
you did detective work.
I did. I called around and figured it out. And the one girl, I found out that her parents died in the HOV lane, so I guess that was her way of taking out her aggression. I like to look at the whole picture instead of victimizing myself, like what would cause somebody to do such a thing.
Sure.
And you know, I understand maybe she was angry, but I wasn't the only person that they jumped that night. They went around to neighborhood
Beating up other.
jumping people. Yes, yes.
But she mentioned your name?
She asked if I knew somebody else.
Oh,
and I
okay.
said, yeah. I'm like, hey, yeah, I know that person. We're all friends, right? No.
Wow.
That was not the case. So I was afraid to leave my house for some time because I did.
What were your thoughts?
I was just like, why would she do this to me? And then the other two girls jumped in.
And you had to heal up, of course.
I mean, I was functional. I was just bruised and a little bit scraped up. I was fine. I was fine.
Health-wise, you were strong.
Yeah, I was fine. So the next day, I called up a bunch of my girlfriends and we got dressed up in our cute little outfits and we went up to the park there. And two of my friends knew that person that jumped me, and she came riding by, pulled over, and they said, Jamie, there she is, go talk to her. So I walk up to the car. There were 3 of them in the car, and I had 7 of my girlfriends. And I look at her and I said, so-and-so, why did you jump me last night? I don't know you. And she reached down and she grabbed a baseball bat and was like, I'm about to hit you with my Louisville Slugger. And I'm like, oh man. So I look, I'm like, where are my friends? They were like 40, 50 feet back.
We got your back.
Yeah, way back there, sure you do. So after that, I did have a mutual friend come in and she just kind of mitigated the situation.
Like a mediator.
Yeah, like a mediator, and it diffused.
Good.
However, I was not happy.
You had the chip.
I had a chip at that point. She beat me up pretty badly. Well, the 3 of them.
Right.
And
Well, this was a complete surprise.
It was a surprise.
What I want you to tell people is what you did next and what you were looking for next.
I was
as your
looking
plan of
for,
action.
I wanted to have it like in the north side. If somebody fights you and you lose, you have to fight them again so you're not punked, so to speak.
That's the mantra.
It's just, it's just how it is. And I've had other street fights as a kid, like protecting my little cousins or whatever.
You look too beautiful to be a fighter. This is outrageous.
When you've no choice. Well, thank you, making me blush.
Oh. Well, it's true. I know my fans will agree.
Oh, well, thank you. So
men and women.
I really wanted my revenge.
Yeah.
I did not like that they did that to me. I didn't do anything to,
to have it happen.
Yeah, to have that happen. So I wanted to fight them. I wanted to fight them all, and I wanted to win. So I said, Mom, I'm joining martial arts. And I called my friend Mara, her dad, and he said, oh, I know a guy.
Everybody does.
Yeah. Well, here it turns out to be this Irish kickboxing champion, world KA champion,
right.
WKA. And I show up at this boxing gym. I'm 16 years old, and there's a bunch of 35-year-old men spitting on the floor. There's blood in the ring. And I show up with my mom, and he was like, what can I do for you? I said, well, Bob Revelle said that you'll train me. And he's like, what?
Like, who are you?
I just showed up ready to go, gloves and all. He said, all right, here's what you're going to do. And then he just took me through the standard workout.
Oh, he took you with no problem.
He took me in no problem.
A lot of guys won't do that.
They're good guys. They were great guys. I love the community here in Pittsburgh, the fight community.
Sure.
They're just wonderful people.
So do I. I've dealt with a lot of them, made great friends.
Yes.
And they do so much good helping people like Jamie and other kids. They show them how to be citizens, be responsible.
Jimmy Savetic.
And have careers, the legendary Jimmy Savetic. Mad Dog.
Yeah, I trained under him for a while at 3rd Ave.
Wow.
Yeah, while in college. And,
great boxing gym there.
Rick Manning and Joey.
Oh,
yeah,
you're name dropping like crazy. Go ahead,
well, they
keep
took
going.
care of me. They took care of me. So
they taught you how to defend yourself.
Kieran trained me, and I was a little bit on the wild side and the north side. Like, I went to Catholic school, did my work.
Yeah.
But
you had an edge to you.
I had a little bit of an edge, and my friends would sneak and smoke cigarettes. Oh, dear Lord. And my coach was like, Kieran was like, we're going to go running Riverview Park, 2.5 miles. I thought I was going to die. He's like, were you smoking before? I said, I quit. Never doing it again. Didn't smoke again. But yeah, he would throw me in there with the men, black belts in Taekwondo.
So you're fighting guys after you had women attack you. This is why I like Jamie. There's no quit in her game. And to this day, she still does work out toe-to-toe, elbow-to-elbow with men in MMA. And a couple of the young guys, younger than her, believe it or not, they go, you got to watch her elbows. They've told me.
Really?
I go, what do you think of Jamie? Watch her elbows. And then watch her kicks. So I don't know what that's about.
Oh, I love Muay Thai. It's the art of 8 limbs. You have the 2 legs, 2 knees, 2 arms, and your elbows.
Understand.
Yeah.
Well, you brought Muay Thai up, so great segue. How did you get into Muay Thai?
Well, Kieran, was Muay Thai background.
That's what I thought.
Savat. He did a lot of kickboxing over in Ireland and England.
So he taught you.
So he taught me, and we were at a boxing gym, so I got my boxing in there.
You're boxing, doing some Muay Thai and martial arts.
They would take me to Wilkinsburg to spar the boys there. Oh yeah, they'd throw me in the ring. Some skinny kid would beat the hell out of me.
What a shock.
I swear. So.
No, you can talk. It's a family-friendly show, so
Okay.
we'll watch it.
Okay. So yeah, that really opened my eyes to what it meant to be in combat sports, like being able to take the punches.
How did you do against these guys as a newbie?
Oh, they beat me up.
Okay.
Oh,
I just wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, well, they were all more experienced than me, grown men, and here I am, 16 years old.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Like I played sports when I first played baseball. I had to learn the game. Then I became good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and football the same way. Yes. So I assume with you.
Yes, yes. So with Kieran, he told me, he goes, I want you to work on your kicks. I want you to go to the U.S. Muay Thai Academy, which was in Verona at the time. Crew Ut, Master Boone, Ajahn Boone,
Wow.
authentic from Thailand. They had a restaurant. So I went there and I just fell in love with the intensity.
Yeah, it just hit your heart.
It just hit me. I felt like flying when I threw the Muay Thai kick, did a full 360 in the just shadow boxing. Like I knew
This is it.
that's what I loved. That was my first love.
So what'd you do next?
So I trained under the Muay Thai Academy, as I would also go to the boxing gyms.
So you were still boxing?
I was still boxing. So while other people at the Muay Thai Academy were training 3 days a week, I was training 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then
So you're in great shape now.
I was in great shape, and then after about a year, I started hitting my coach. And they were like, no, she didn't. And yes, I did. I was able to pick it apart because once you have good hands and good feet, you can really see
What's
things.
not bragging if you do it?
No, I'm just saying, like,
No, you learned.
I learned that if I got my hands down, then I could set up my kicks better and vice versa. So
You learned some great tips for all of you Muay Thai and martial arts.
Yes, the sweet
Listen.
science. It's good to put both Muay Thai and boxing together. However, you have to look at the different stances and, what's better for each situation.
And that's what I watch, like with boxing, the angles you give, and like with Muay Thai and MMA, how your stances are from strength and how you prepare to kick and things like that. I noticed that because you want to have powerful kicks. You don't want to just have that wimpy kick. You want to try to break their leg.
Well, that's why I like Muay Thai. It's the sport of devastation.
And constant moving around.
Yes, it's not fancy where you get into Taekwondo with those really pretty kicks. We're going to see that pretty kick coming and just kick your leg out. So that's why I liked Muay Thai, the efficiency of it.
Yeah, last year I saw my first Muay Thai show with Andy Anderson when they did that last year, and it was just great to see Muay Thai.
Oh, I love it.
I'd
I wanted
only
to jump
heard
in
about
there.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I know.
Yeah.
No, that's so interesting. Now, when did you start fighting Muay Thai?
About 6 months after training.
6 months.
He threw me right in there. The woman that I fought, her name was Donna, and we fought in a church, in an old church in Sharpsburg. Yes, they put the ring there. There's the crowd, and she was really good. Like, she was a solid fighter.
Yeah.
She did it more than I did, and I was there 5-6 days a week and had way more experience than me.
Yeah.
And I heard the announcer, because they had a DJ that was commentating, and you can hear it. It wasn't just on video.
So
this was back in the day before the technology.
Yeah, we won't put your age out there.
I'm young, 29.
You just had a birthday, so another
Getting younger.
29 years.
Right. So I heard them saying, "Oh, Donna has Jamie in the corner," and I thought, "Oh no, this is not happening." And then that lit a fire under me, and
Because you heard that.
I heard it. Well, I didn't realize because it was my first time in there.
It inspired you.
It inspired me, made me realize that, oh, even though we're fighting, I can lose, and I don't want that to happen. So
Not from Northside.
no, I won. I won every round.
You're
And then
kidding.
I went
so you
on
beat
from
the
there.
more experienced lady.
Yeah, yeah. As far as my stand-up fights, I've never lost a fight. So I was 9-0 with Muay Thai, kickboxing, whether it be like Sukhothai or some other form of it, Bondo.
And didn't you travel across the world to
Well,
fight Muay Thai?
Well, I was supposed to.
Okay.
I lived in Las Vegas for a while after I won an international championship in Muay Thai here
I
in
want
Pittsburgh.
you to put this good stuff out there. Come on.
I won a championship when I was 19, about to be 20.
Congrats.
Thank you. And it was international, so it was produced in this paper, in the Thai newspaper, and I still have a copy of that. Well,
That is so cool.
I thought so. Like my picture was there, holding up my arm. I'm like, oh.
And you haven't changed a bit.
Oh, well, thank you. So a gentleman reached out to me named Master Toddy, and he lived in Vegas, had a gym there, Master Toddy's Muay Thai. He's been around for years.
Right.
And said that
That's great he reached out to you.
he asked me to come and train, and he would pay me. I would teach people. So I was
You'd
also
actually
going.
teach.
Yeah, I was going to school as well. So I
From
did.
a bullied high school girl to now teaching Muay Thai and winning an international championship.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing this with my fans.
Well, hopefully it inspires somebody because
You're going to inspire somebody.
I didn't feel very inspirational back then. I just wanted to keep grinding, and I
Right.
wanted to do well at my art. And Master Toddy was training me. I was living on the camp. I would get up and go to school after running 4 miles in training with Master Luke
Wow,
Chang.
now
and
you're
Master
up to 4 miles.
Yeah, I was up 4 miles, and then we would do like 10 rounds. Then I would go to school. Then I would meet him at the school in Rainbow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went from my school for web design and graphic design to the Muay Thai school,
Wow.
which was Master Toddy's Muay Thai. And I would teach private lessons. I would teach the women's fitness class. I would teach the kids class. And I would teach the aerobic class. So I was so hungry. It was unbelievable. Like, I could not keep enough food.
Sure.
So I was training so much.
And you're training and you're working out with people that you're teaching.
Yes.
So it's like nonstop, just so people know.
Yeah, it's like
not
class
a
after
normal
class.
workout. It's excessive workouts.
Yes, yes. I was wondering why I was just like ready to pass out the one day. I'm like, oh, I didn't eat today. So Master Toddy had a restaurant, and he would take me there after training, and I had the best food.
Nice.
It was great. And then I would go back to camp, do my homework, and get up the next day and do it again. And he had an opportunity for me to fight against the Chinese national champion.
Wow, let's get those Chinese.
Oh, I was ready. I was going to come out to American Woman by Lenny Kravitz. I was ready. I was ready.
Wow.
So I was going to fight Wang Zili. Apparently she's pretty famous now.
Yeah.
And she was like the sidekick master. So I watched the tape, and I really had to focus on being able to deflect and get around that sidekick.
Yeah.
And I was ready to go. He wanted me to fly to Thailand, meet the general of Thailand, and then fly to China and fight in front of 3 million people, but have a press conference there with the Chinese government. But he wanted me to...
All for a 19-year-old.
Yeah, there was a little bit of embellishment that would have to have taken place for my record, and I guess my integrity was too high. I just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I decided not to move forward. Not that it was wrong, because Gina Carano came and took my place there. I'm like, I watched The Mandalorian, like, damn it, I feel on The Mandalorian.
I know. You could have been somebody.
Could have, you know. But who needs that, right?
No, not at all. A little sidebar note to close the bullying. Did you ever get revenge against the bullies?
So prior...
And you can keep it clean and just...
Oh, I had my form of revenge. Two of the girls that were walking, two of the girls that jumped me were walking along my path to go to the gym. And at that point, I was like 17. My mother still wouldn't let me drive. She was just like, I don't know about you, you know.
What a mama.
So I had to take my bike to the gym, and I see these two girls, and I'm like, it's them. What do I do? Do I jump off my bike and just give it to them? No, I thought, well, success is the best revenge. I'm going to achieve my goals and not have my revenge in that way. I just felt like it was low energy, but I did ride my bike right between them. Their purses go up in the air, and I turned around and flicked them off.
Okay.
So that was the revenge that I had gotten,
Well,
and that worked for me.
This is why I tell people she looks like a model and hits like a man. Now we're going to get into the business aspect of what you're doing now.
Okay.
Okay. And then we may digress on how I even met you through your friend.
Okay.
Okay. But you just got your real estate license. I'm so
Yes.
proud and happy
Thank
for
you.
you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Can you tell them what you're doing?
Yeah, so the reason why I went into real estate is because my ultimate goal is development and using a different type of building material. So I did explore
Can
this.
we talk lightly about the building materials, a recyclable type thing?
Well, that's something that's coming, so I really can't disclose just
Okay,
yet.
sorry to
This
have that tip.
manufacturing's a big deal for me, so I cannot disclose just
I'm
yet.
excited. The tease is you'll hear more from Jaime Chesney about something I can't talk about.
Yes. We have to wait until everything's signed off on. We're
You
almost
know I had to
there.
get it out early.
I appreciate that.
All
But
right,
I had
real
a
estate.
passion. I had a passion for giving people homes that kind of take care of the homeowner, reduce bills, high insulation, just bulletproof.
They can live better.
You can live better, and something that's a better product. Like, why are we doing stick frame? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
So I came across this product, traveled, and came back to Pittsburgh and realized that this is what I want to do. I want to do these developments.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. But I was working in digital advertising, and I was all the way up until the pandemic,
Yes.
and then I lost my job.
Like a lot of people.
So I had to pivot and figure out my next steps, and that was...
What was the next step?
I have a friend who was my realtor, and she was a fantastic realtor. She's seasoned.
Can you use her name?
Monica Sample.
Thank you.
And I said, well, maybe I should get my license. She was like, come work with me. so I worked with her for over a year and a half, and then I did get my license. So here I am now, fully licensed. And I work with Pyatt Sotheby's International Realty. They're a newer brokerage.
Hold it, they're celebrating their 5-year anniversary.
Yesterday was our 5-year anniversary.
I just saw that.
Yes. They rented the Warhol Museum. We're wearing pretty dresses, and we're going to celebrate.
Wow.
Yes, so they're a wonderful group of people, so collaborative.
Well, the Pyatts are so good. I know them from Washington County.
Yes.
And owning horses and real estate out there. I know Lucas Pyatt, and I knew his dad.
Yes.
And I met his sister, Gina Johnson. So I know some of the
You know
family
them?
there.
Yeah, they're great people.
Great people. Do
Lucas
great
and-
things in the community. So you're in a great place with
Yes.
how you like helping people.
Yes, I figure I want to be surrounded by people that are like-minded and, of service, but still, I believe in business. I believe in win-win situations. I like to make money, but at
Sure.
the same time, I want to help people. And being in real estate...
Here, hold it. How do they get a hold of you? Please put a number out so they
Okay.
can call you.
Okay, well, if you're
Normally I
looking-
don't do this with beautiful women, but this is for business.
Okay, well, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, or if you need help with anything real estate, you can reach me at 412-969-9412.
Jaime Chesney. We got it out there. I told you I'd let you do a little
Thank you.
self-promotion,
Appreciate it.
and I wish you well in all you do. But tell them the story, if you remember, about the friend that called you up when she saw me at a Savoy restaurant, and she asked me a question. I was telling Dave Cable, I met Jaime because a lady came up to me and said, I heard you do a TV show and you have MMA guys on. Would you put an MMA woman on? I said, get her name and number. She goes, in an hour I will. She came back and made a phone call to...
Me? Yes, she
Right?
told me about you. So that was Pat Kelly Lee. God rest her soul.
Yeah, may she rest in peace.
Yes. So she was a dear friend and mentor of mine since, I've known her since I was 15. She was
Well,
in-
wasn't her daughter your best friend? or-
Yes, that's how we became friends, through her daughter.
Yeah.
Her daughter and I were best friends.
You can mention her daughter's
Mara
name.
Kelly Slack.
Thank you.
So as teenagers, we were very close, and then her mother also became like a second mother to me, and she mentored me as an industrial engineer. So we would go into businesses, and I interned with her a
What
little
a
bit.
background you had.
Yeah, so an efficiency expert. So when you work with an efficiency expert, you see things that are wrong.
That others don't look
that
at. Yeah.
others don't look at, and I'm like, well, that doesn't need to be there. That's costing you money. That doesn't make any sense. So
Just rip it out.
right. So when I see
I could be one. Look, get rid of that.
right, we don't need it. It's
No.
fine.
It costs you money. Save money.
Well, she was a great efficiency expert because she would go in and look at the different departments and see where they weren't producing the way that they should
Sure.
produce or working together the way they should. So she would streamline the process in a funny way. Like I've been at her meetings where she would have all these executives sitting in a circle.
Sure.
And we would have like the Incredible Hulk gloves, and they would make this noise.
She had props and stuff.
We had props, games, all this funny stuff. For Gateway Health, she ended up putting on this Follow the Yellow Brick Road Wizard of Oz theme.
Wow.
And we actually did this reenactment at the end. Oh, it was great.
That's
Such
cool
a good
stuff.
time. So,
and that's how I got introduced, because she put me on the phone. And I'm like, this Jamie? Yeah, I'm Jamie. You want to be a guest on Pittsburgh Sportsline? We'll talk MMA. She goes, well, I haven't done very well at MMA. I go, we'll boost you up.
yeah, and the reason for that is coming from a stand-up background, like a striker
I
background.
needed you to explain that.
Yes, especially with boxing, because boxing, the stance is more linear. You have your left foot in front, and that's lined up with your back foot. Whereas Muay Thai, you may be standing there facing somebody, you're a little more open. Where MMA, if you are more upright, that leaves you open to being taken down.
You heard it here first from a beautiful lady that's Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, and you see how beautiful the green-eyed lady is.
Oh my goodness.
I
You're
just
making me-
want her to tell one more thing, how she's giving back to the community, I think almost every week or monthly, and you're helping kids and girls overcome bullying. We got a couple minutes left.
Okay.
Why don't we get that out there, because I'm so proud of you
Thank
doing that
you.
to help others who are being bullied
Yes, well,
and to prevent it.
so I've been teaching children since I was in Master Toddy's in Las Vegas.
We covered that.
Yeah, so fast forward on, I was going through a little bit of rough patch in life, and I thought to myself, like, God, like, what is your will? Like, just let me do your will at this point. I really don't care about anything else. Just a really low point.
That's a great question.
And
You asked the right guy.
And it came up that North Park had this open class for somebody to come and teach martial arts.
Wow.
And I thought, well, I spoke to the gentleman. He wanted to pay me to teach these classes. I said, I can't. I just feel like this is something that I need to do.
I want to do it.
Yeah, and it was a personal thing for me. So I just fell in love with all these kids. They were adorable. I loved teaching them. And then Top Tier, the gym that I'm at now.
Right. Great people there.
They supported me and didn't charge any fees and let me do my charity class there where I teach kids 5 through 10. And then I moved on to also include a teenage girls class, because I feel like with women, and you hear a lot of things that happen, we could discuss this for a long time,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to handle certain situations, and self-confidence, hormones, all the things that come into play at that adolescent age. I just feel that martial arts had helped me so much. Maybe I can share that with them.
Well, you lived through it from a bad experience and you overcame it. And don't you feel better when you're helping somebody?
Absolutely. Even when I'm judging with the state commission,
You do great there. She's a
Thank you.
judge,
Yes.
lady judge.
the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission for mixed martial arts and kickboxing, it's just something that makes me feel like I'm doing something good for the community, and that's the role that martial arts has played in my life.
No, that is great. And how do you get the students that you can teach? How do you get them?
Just promotion on social media.
Oh, okay. Well, then look for Jaime Chesney in social media to get in one of her classes. How can you go wrong with a teacher like that?
Oh,
Looks
thank
like a
you.
model, hits like a man.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Al, for having me on the show. This was great.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
being a great guest,
And
my BFF.
congratulations.
Thank you.
20th show.
20th show with Jaime Chesney. I'm honored to have this. And thank you for all your comments and your feedback. I appreciate that too. And we're looking forward to next guest in 14 days.